Good day, folks. Good afternoon. It's 12:02 on the 20th of December, 2018. Let's see. Just threw up a little in my mouth, so I'm gonna have a throw-up taste as I write today. That's just super. Plus, I have various voodoo doll-like pains through my body, and it's weird. When I said all I wanted for Christmas was for everyone in the family to be healthy, I assumed that, I would be healthy as well. Yeah, I gotta find whoever's got that voodoo doll and punish them. Let's see. Foreign muscle, they're quite good at their jobs. Vulcan was, after all. Vulcan thought it would be amusing if he linked up the Jade Commandos to find that, like himself, they were all foreigners. All foreigners just in it for the money. Money. That's how it should be spelled. Money. Money. Yeah. Why waste an E, right? Ugh. More indigestion. Thank you, stomach. If I could fire an organ and replace it with something better, I would, I think. Vulcan thought it was amusing. Vulcan supposed there was something to this besides money. At least for him. He hated the Zedins for dismantling the Reich. Removing him, parting him from his benefactors, his high-paying, high-prestige job. The job in the SD. The SD was the Nazi intelligence organization. Not the Gestapo. The Gestapo were a police-related thing. Usually in movies, when you see the Gestapo, they should be the SD, which were uniformed, which wore military uniforms and used and policed the occupied territories. They got their hands quite dirty, as you can imagine, for an organization as criminal as the SS. And most of their leaders were executed after the war. Let's see, high prestige job in the SD. He became a wanted man because of after World War III. And those people who, it's weird calling it World War III because I keep associating that with post-apocalyptic kind of bullshit. I don't think World War III will be the end of the world, especially if by the time it happens we've colonized other planets. But maybe it will be the worst war in history. I have a feeling that the worst war humans ever endured has not happened yet. But that's just me. Hopefully World War II will be the end of all human suffering on that kind of scale. That would be lovely if it was. Maybe that should be my Christmas wish. And those, let's see. Those, why did they unleash the dogs on him when they hired many of his old bosses to work for them against the blood as the Vulcans? Vulcan would have gladly worked for the Zedins if they offered. Perhaps he had worked for them without realizing it. The CIA had their invisible touch on a lot of things. CIA, despite their public presentation, like the public perception of them being omnipresent and near omnipotent. Is that the right way? Wow, that is a weird way. If I was in a spelling bee and that was the word I had to do, I guess I would probably lose. I should have joined a spelling bee when I was young. I was a great speller. I did horrible in math, science, but English and history, those were my subjects. Unfortunately, history is not relevant today, apparently. And it's probably always better to be an expert in math than pretty much anything else. At least till we finally degenerate into blobs that have robots do everything for us. I wouldn't mind a robot doing my taxes someday. Being omnipresent and near omnipotent. Now, they didn't see what happened, see the current incident coming. This despite many escalating terrorist incidents involving Jade and their golems around the world, and Jade soldiers / mercs showing up in modern battlefields. Korea and Kamja-Klak, the Wuian Civil War, not in that order. The Jade turned up in all of those fights. Like bad pennies, as the Zedans like to say. I'm on a roll all of a sudden, in case you can't tell. Kamja-Klak. Yeah. I always forget the fake name I came up with for Korea. I love the Korean people. They're responsible for some of my favorite fiction. I think I had some relatives who fought in the Korean War, but I'm not sure. I don't know if they lived or died in it. Hopefully they lived. Like bad pennies of the Zedans like to say. The CIA were blindsided by 2 major incidents taking place in Liberty Berg within a month's time. Of course, this second incident had dwarfed the first considerably, and the first was likely to be forgotten. I feel like I'm getting near the end of this story arc, folks. 350 pages in. Honest to God, I thought that this would only be 10... I thought this story would only be 100 pages, and now I'm in the second part of it. Crazy, crazy. It sounded like the CIA's failures would not be forgotten. This incident might end them in Vulcan view. Vulcan's view. It was sure if the SD allowed some blunder like this to hit the capital Dreadon, they would have been dismantled and the leadership put in a guillotine. Put in guillotines. Vulcan had disabled the security camera. Found 2 men in a security room. 2 guards in a security room. Looking at the monitors. Reporting what they were seeing. Wagner killed both men. Dragged them into a closet. He thought someone would come to check on them. On the men who had mysteriously gone silent. Apparently Manning, the chief of security, didn't think did share his view. Vulcan's view. So Vulcan waited for about 5 minutes for an enemy that never materialize. He was kept entertained, at least in those minutes, because he was able to keep one eye on the monitors, the security monitors. One eye, huh? Like he's a damn lizard? A chameleon? Like, yeah, like, sometimes I wish I could do that with my eyes. All I can do, the only unique thing about my eyes is that I can wink in either eye, which isn't exactly a great talent. Sometimes I wish I could pop my eyes out so I could clean them, because they feel very dirty a lot of times. Dirty and itchy. Maybe like a lizard tongue, you know, lick the eyeballs. That would be nice to be able to do. At some point we shared ancestors with the lizards, I think, way back when. And then there was a split, and we went with the monkeys, and they just turned into bigger and uglier reptiles. And then to birds, I guess. The Jade Commandos advanced briskly. Besides mowing down all in their path, it was like something out of a movie. Lots of fancy footwork and muzzle flashes. Guys ducking in and out of corridors, spraying down opposition from the hip. It was mostly the guards who were going down. But one bit of bad luck could have taken half the commandos out and doomed their attack. Morgan was in no position to finish their mission for them. He would just bail out of there when he could. With his cover intact. Oh, I should know he dodged security cameras. With his cover intact, he could leave whenever he could just keep quiet and then go and then leave after everybody was sent home. Late shift. The commandos were knocking out security cameras as they went. A few guards accidentally shot them out themselves as they were struck and sent tumbling back, firing their weapons in the air like dying cowboys. I guess if I was a cowboy, I would die shooting my gun in the air. Why not? Although I'd probably accidentally kill somebody. Those bullets, when you fire them, they don't go on forever. Eventually they come down and they kill somebody. Learned that from CSI. And you know, everything on CSI is 100% accurate, so... Actually, no. It's kind of funny, actually, how wrong... Well, we writers, you know, you want a really accurate book, go find some ex-CSI, try to convince him to write a novel about it, what he does. You'd probably get some grade A fiction, though it might be a bit bland, because real life isn't as exciting as fiction, especially if you fudge the numbers. As P.T. Barnum once said, don't let the facts get in the way of a good story. Cowboys. The commandos weren't, besides the armored boys in the lead, none of the commandos were masked. No mesh balaclavas or gas masks. They looked mostly Asian, so maybe they were jade. It was in black and white, so he couldn't tell. But Vulcan couldn't tell they had gray skin or those fearsome owlish eyes that jade people had. Just a second, folks. Back, folks, back. Thought we had an intruder in here, in the house. Fortunately, it wasn't some psycho killer come to murder me, put me out of my misery. It was just somebody delivering a package. The Vulcan wondered if maybe the hacker was watching through those cameras, providing intel to the guys advancing. Vulcan supposed nobody was communicating with old Vulcan. Like usual, he was on his own. Vulcan. Isn't that the name of a Greek god? I used to be an expert on such things. Subordinate. Vulcan decided a few minutes after leaving the camera area. Vulcan found some grenades on some dead men. Dead guards. Guards he was responsible for. Dead men he was responsible for. Let's see. He decided he would attack the security center. Take out the commanders of the guards. Not that they had been doing a bang-up job, but it would be something for them to be denied even shitty leadership. A decapitated, a leaderless fighting force usually crumbled pretty quick. Vulcan had seen it with his own eyes, dismantling resistance groups in Europe during World War III. They were often these groups were often led by a few dedicated, charismatic leaders. And when those leaders were cut down, the people that took their place were not as good, and the groups usually crumbled afterwards. Vulcan supposed that was all for nothing. All his hard work during the war years. He was building the infrastructure for a 1,000-year empire, and then it was all gone in the blink of an eye. Only around for about a dozen years, far short of the goal of 1,000 years, or even 20 years. And in the last year or so of the war, Loika was certainly no empire. It didn't even control most of its own nation, which was under Allied and Vulcan occupation. But that was all in the past. Vulcan reached the hall. Reached one of the long hallways outside the security center. Is that the right term? Control center. another thing that's annoying about language, all the different names for things. It's almost enough to make you want to invent some word that just covers all of this. Security center, control center. Ah, fresh pain in the neck. How wonderful. I can see why people get so miserable when they have neck injuries. This is just like a pinched nerve or something, and it's freaking agonizing. Some girl near where I live got burned alive by her boyfriend. Some kind of crazy dispute. He poured over kids. He poured gasoline all over her, burned her alive, then burned himself alive. It's crazy. I heard she's in a medically induced coma. I don't care what happened to the guy, what condition the guy who burned her is in. He can burn in hell. He thinks that being burned alive is painful. Well, he sees the fires of hell. Let's see, subordinate. Reach one of the long hallways outside the control center. He had 2 frag grenades in his pockets, and he had the suppressed pistol within reach. 2 guards spied him and eyeballed him suspiciously. There was a strangely long stretch of time. It took them a few minutes to ask him why he was there. What are you doing here, janitor? The ranking guard asked. 2 guards. There were only 2 guards in the hall. They spotted Vulcan. Figured I'd be safest around soldiers. Vulcan said, replied with a warm grin. Disarming grin. Well, it's gonna get hot here soon, so you better get moving out of here. The guard replied. Said, I'll get going. Vulcan replied. Just got to clean up the control center a little. Control center, where the commander of the guard and men giving orders from. Radio's jammed. Alright, we've gone too long. See you later, folks. Avita Zane. Sayonara.